Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, you guys. Make sure you hit that bell to where you'll know whenever I post a new video. Welcome back, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Enter Into Thoughts with Kiera podcast. I'm super excited still to continue with this journey with you guys. Ignore this fly, y'all. Boy, flies in spiritual meaning means somebody trying to be nosy in my life. But anyways, but today's gonna be episode 3, y'all. Episode 3, how to how to forgive someone without expectation is gonna be episode 3 today. And so I'm honestly super excited about this journey and talking about this topic today. And so this topic is very interesting and very much so personal. I feel like it's personal for everybody. Everybody is in the process of trying to learn how to forgive people without expectation or without someone's acceptance or apologies or anything of that such. And going through the process of forgiving is the first step is forgiveness. And forgiveness is basically like try not to have resentment, no resentment, learning to not to forget, but to forgive. You don't necessarily have to forget about it, but you don't have to dwell upon it. You don't have to keep continuing with letting it manifest within you and building up anger within you. And so I'm just going to go through some things and just, talking about this topic and just shedding a light on it and understanding that basically, it's important to it's important to see things for what it is, seeing things for what they are and allowing yourself to accept it, and accept it for what it is and try to find the best way possible of moving forward. And accepting that humans are flawed. Humans aren't perfect. We're not perfect. We all have flaws. We all are born into sin. We all make mistakes. God created us to make mistakes for a reason in order for us to learn our lessons. And of course, it hurts to be the punching bag sometimes. It hurts, but it's also important for you to not allow yourself to be the punching bag and to pay attention to whenever those things are happening to you, to where you're able to remove yourself out of those type of situations. And so just accepting of what you want that person to be, and not accepting, but having expectations of what you want that person to be. We so often fall real short of that. Like, we sit there and want that person to look a certain way, to say the right things, to say what you expect them to say what you feel like they should say, versus just seeing it for that person for who they are, accepting them for who they are, and accepting them for the flaws that they come with, and understanding that they're not going to be perfect. There's no need for you to sit there and put this person on a pedestal that they're not going to be able to come to your expectations of things, because nobody can give you what you most of the time not even able to give yourself. So it's just like, stop putting people on pedestals and expecting them to be the way that you want them to be or you imagine them to be, and just see people for who they are and what they show you, to prevent yourself from even having to go through the stages of forgiving people. And just don't blame, like, learning to not blame others for your mistakes, because at the end of the day, it's just like, we be so quick to blame somebody for what they did, how they did it, and it's just like, what did you do to get yourself in this situation? How did you even get yourself in this situation? Not saying to take away your emotions and how you felt and how they made you feel and how they treated you, but just taking accountability for what you allowed in, and what did you ignore? What did you put a mask on to? What did you not allow yourself to see? You know, or what did you continue with lying to yourself about? And just understanding that people aren't perfect. You're not perfect. So if you're not perfect, why do you expect somebody else to be perfect? That just some like that stuff like that just don't be making sense to me. And I had to learn that quick through my whole spiritual journey. Just forgiveness is something that it can hurt sometimes to forgive somebody, because then you like, well, who they the one who chose to do it, so why should I forgive them? Why do they deserve my forgiveness? And it's like, it's not about them. Forgiveness is never about the other person. Forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness is for you to be able to heal, you to be able to grow and to move past the things that that person put you through, move past that pain, that hurt, that just all those things, because by moving past it helps you take those next steps into becoming a better you. Take those next steps into learning what not to do next time, learning to not make those mistakes anymore, and understanding that nobody is going to be you. Don't expect people to be you, or to say what you would say, or to act how you would act, because 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, you're going to go in that situation being very disappointed every time. It's never going to fail. You're going to be disappointed every single time. And just understanding that at the end of the day, seeing people for the imperfection humans they are, instead of looking at them as a fantasy you created in your mind. You know, you created what you wanted to create in your mind, and just accepting things for what they are, and understanding that everything happens for a reason, baby girl. It definitely does. And I know that it be frustrating sometimes, like being like, man, why I gotta why I gotta accept this? Like sometimes you just be wanting to just hold the grudge and just be mad at that person and just not even forgive them. But it's important for you to forgive. It really is. And so also just honestly, not not all the time is it that people that cause resentment, but out of expectations. You know, they cause resentment out of expectations. People make mistakes, they gossip, they'll betray you, they'll lie, they'll violate your boundaries. But it's important for you to understand how to create a boundary. What is your boundaries? What is where that crosses that line? You know, like what is that's for me, because everybody's boundaries is different. Some people can deal with some things that others can't. That's just what that comes with. That's us just being different, us being perfectly imperfect, and just God creating all of us to be different for a reason, and to live in different things in our lives. And it's just like understanding just acceptance, and accepting it for what it is. I feel like I already said that, but like genuinely like accepting it, like for real, because we sit there and we don't want to look at the reality of it. We don't want to look at the bigger picture. We just want to be mad. We just want to be angry. And it's just like, no, like that's not healthy. Just helping you be stuck in the same old mindset, in the same old dark energy. And you know, darkness, you can't get out of it. But light and darkness, you can get out of the darkness with the light, with the positive mindset, with the better viewpoint of it. Just allowing yourself to understand that at the end of the day, holding those grudges and being like you want to make somebody pay or get vengeance on someone, it's just like all that does is make you be depressed, cause illness within you, cause so many things that you honestly probably like. If you sick right now and going through some things, car probably breaking down and all this other stuff, and you may be holding on to some resentment and some hate, and you need to let it go in order for good things to happen to you, in order for life to change, you have to get out of that dark place. You have to allow yourself to see the light. There, like I always told myself through my journey, there is a light at the end of this tunnel. Yes, it may be dark. Yes, it may be hard. Yes, it may be a struggle to try to get my feet out of this quicksand. I feel like I'm sinking, but I'm still gonna keep moving forward, because who I stand with and who is behind me gonna make sure that that sinking sand turns into complete cement, where I could just walk on top of it with no problems, move forward within my journey with no problems, allowing myself to understand that forgiveness is something that it helps me become rich, helps me become full, helps me come at peace in my life. And just understanding that at the end of the day, contemplating anger and resentment is so important, because at the end of the day, it's just like, I'm not trying to take away or disvalue how you feel or how that person made you feel. It's more of understanding that feeding the fire, what's the point? What's the point of feeding the fire? I work at a call center job where I talk to people on the phone all day, and they be saying some rude things to me. But then God be putting in my heart that to help me understand that they're going through things too. That they know it's not okay that they're trying to project their feelings and their emotions onto me, but just taking myself out of the situation, removing myself out of it, and just putting myself in that person's shoes and understanding that they're just hurt. They have a lot of hurt. They have a lot of things that's going on. Excuse me. And by me looking at it in that way, honestly and truthfully, that's what helps me be able to just forgive that person for what they did and be like, you know what? Like, they're just going through a hard time right now. And usually I get an apology out of it whenever I see it, for versus me expecting them to just not yell at me, or for them to use their anger or be in control of their emotions, like me trying to put them on this pedestal of just how to talk to me and knowing that I am human and I'm not a robot. Like all these different things that I put out there, and it's just like at the end of the day they don't care. you know? And all you have to do is just show that person of how to be treated by doing, love over hate and choosing to show love instead of arguing with that person. Because whenever you argue back and you be combative with that person, all it does is create a bigger fire. So basically you're feeding the fire, and there's no need to feed the fire. The longer you feed the fire, the more depressed and sad you become. But the more you allow yourself to understand that that person makes mistakes, and we all go through things in life, just removing yourself from them type of people is the most important thing. Removing yourself and understanding that you can love people from a distance. Just because you choosing love over hate does not mean that you have to love them within their presence and forgive that person within your presence. And it's like, no, that person, you can love that person from a distance. You can wish them well. You can pray that they find their way. Pray that they find a better way of thinking, find a better way of living, find a better way of just better people around them, better friends, better all of that. All trying to figure out this thing called life, and we all are in the process of trying to balance out our yin and our yang, darkness and our light. And it's important to have both and balance them out and use them in a way that benefits, and not to destroy or to step on someone or make someone feel less than of themselves, and making them feel like that just because they hurt you or just because they put you through this pain, now you want to try to put them through the pain. And it's just like, no, that's all that's going to do is show God that you're at a place of you're not ready. Honestly and truthfully, like I've been at that place before where it's just like I feel like holding a grudge or being mad or being or vengeful and trying to get back at that person, and it was just like, no care, because whatever you put back out to that person is gonna come right back to you. So why not just uproot all them weeds to where you can grow new ones, to grow a positive mindset, just looking at the positive things, understanding that they're like looking at the brighter things of it versus always focusing on the negative, because your mind is very powerful. And whenever you sit there and think about all those things and you sit in that, you create things. Like, you literally are creating negative things to be sent to that person, because we be thinking that just because we didn't hurt that person or just because we didn't touch them, it's okay if I can think this horrible thing that will happen to them. And it's just like, no, those things come into fruition as well. Those things form as well. Just because you thinking your inner thoughts are silent, that does not mean that your inner thoughts are creating something and being sent to that person. Whenever you can choose to think positive and send positive energy that way and pray and hope that they become a better person, because a lot of times, just because that person is being evil or being dark or in a dark place does not mean that they're a dark person. It just means that they're going through something that they also need to heal. They also need to find a way to work through, find a better way to be able to heal from those things, be able to find the light. Because you can be so caught up in that darkness to the point where you don't even know, you're not even realizing how many people you're hurting through the process. Because in those moments, whenever people can be very selfish. And I'm a very selfless individual, and I care about how people feel. I care about the things that I say out loud, which is why if I say something that I felt like sounded horrible, I catch myself and I will apologize right then and there. I don't like, sometimes, yes, of course, I'm not perfect. I can, some things to pass by, and then that person has to tell me that I hurt that I hurt their feelings, or that I did something that made them feel some type of way. And sometimes it can hurt with you doing something to somebody and then you having to wait for their forgiveness or hoping that they forgive you. And it's just like, no, just forgive yourself. Apologize to yourself. Say sorry to you. Like, learn how to just sit there and take accountability for the things you did. No matter, like, if that person decided to flip over that table or cheat on you or use you, manipulate you, gaslight you, be a narcissist towards you, all those things, at the end of the day, that person is going through life, and it will come to them. God usually send your match. He'll either send you your match that'll help you grow, and send you your match as in somebody that will love you, cherish you, and all those things, or he'll send you your match that will treat you just like how you treating them other people. God will make you reflect on the things that you did to people. That's why it's important for you to just forgive, because God will handle the rest. He will handle all of it, because whenever you choose to have a good heart, whenever you choose to love somebody and love them for who they are and accept them for who they are and understand that we are not all perfect, God sees your heart, and he helps you also learn your own lessons that you need to learn as well. But he will show you that by choosing love versus hate, it comes with a lot more benefits and a lot more blessings, a lot more peace, a lot more understanding, a lot more acceptance, and for yourself, accepting yourself, loving yourself, understanding that I am more than what I thought I was, by forgiving someone who body shamed you, forgiving someone who chose to emotionally um abuse you with their physically abused you, mentally abused you with their words, and understanding that hurt people hurt people. I know people say that all the time, but it's so true. Hurt people literally hurt people, and somebody will sit there and feed off of hurt, feed off of pain, and they think that it's so high and mighty and so all good then and there, until it will come a time whenever that person has to face what they did to you. Trust and believe. That's why I want y'all to learn how to apply forgiveness within your life. Our mind of trying to get revenge is it's not gonna help the situation. It's not gonna make the situation easier. If you ever notice, the more that you hold things within, the bigger things you create within your own self. And that was like a lot of times why I was sick and why I was going through the things that I was going through, because I was battling with forgiving people, battling with forgiving friends, someone that I used to be friends with. And basically, I said some things to her where I didn't even say any. I guess you could say that I said something to hurt her feelings, but I'm one of those people where I could be real rude sometimes. I could be mean. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I could be mean sometimes, and forgive me, but I really can. And I posted some things on my social media on their birthday, and I was I forgot their birthday last year, I want to say. She was upset with me because a ex had resurfaced in my life around, it was like around my granny's birthday. And he was wanting to talk to me and, you know, try to have a conversation with me, trying to basically get back in my life. Y'all know how it is. They leave, but they always come back. And she didn't like him. And it's just so crazy how like friends will sit there and they also have their own expectations of what they feel like you should do. And she was mad at me because I chose to talk to him and I chose to answer the phone and have a conversation with him. I didn't go see him. I didn't do any of those things, but I did talk to him because I wanted to see what he wanted. And I also like wanted, I don't know, I was just curious. That's all. I was just curious. And she didn't like that. And so she got upset about that. She was already upset about that situation. But then I had posted some like videos. You know how friends go out, you drink, you have fun, and you dance, yada yada yada. And I had posted on Facebook. It was nothing where it was showing she was actually taking a shot, but you could tell that she had taken shots, in the videos, and she was pretty lit. And she, instead of her saying like thank you, or instead of her acknowledging the post that I posted about her, because I took my time, to say the nice things that I was saying about her, and she chose to text me and gave me a whole list of the videos that she wanted me to remove. And so I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I got defensive, and I felt some type of way, because I'm like, so you're not even gonna say thank you for the video, or I appreciate, you know, what you said, but could you please just remove the video? That's me having an expectation of how she should have responded to what I posted, versus me just understanding. Like, it was like I was having an expectation of what she should have said, but then I was also like putting myself in her shoes and being like, okay, let's look at it from her point of view, Kiera. Like, talk to my god sister, and she helped me see some things from her point of view. And I had asked her, like, like, why? Like, I was really genuinely asking her why. Like, why do you want me to remove this post, or the certain videos? I was already in the process of deleting the videos, y'all, which is so crazy. I was already in the process of deleting the videos, and her response back to me was basically like, why do I have to explain to you on what it is that on why I don't want something of myself? Just do, just take it down. And it was like, I was only asking just so I can have an understanding of why you wanted it to be removed, to where I didn't do it again, and where I can have an understanding of why it is that you didn't want me to post X, Y, and Z. So it was just like miscommunication, of course, but through that, like, that was like, how many years? 5-year friendship, maybe longer, probably longer than that. And that situation, she just stopped talking to me, like completely just stopped talking to me, y'all. And that hurt my feelings. I was like, what? Like, okay. I had to learn how to forgive that person. I had to learn how to just understand that God removed that friendship out of my life because it no longer served any more purpose within my life. But that was hard to accept, that was hard to overcome, Cause it was just like, it was like back to back. It was like, first it was that situation, then it was another situation where it was like a friend that lived with me, and just a whole bunch of stuff transpired, and they no longer live with me anymore, and that hurt my feelings, and I feel like I lost that person too. And it was just like I was just losing people, and I was trying to figure out how to forgive them, but then also how to forgive myself, because there were some things that I accepted but I never spoke about. We so many times, like, we go through things and we allow people to do stuff to us, but then we don't say nothing about it. And then we later on hold on to that, be angry about it, be, you know, just so spiteful. But then we don't sit there and think about, like, how did I even get in that situation? What could I have done better? Looking at the positive within it. What could I have done better? How could I have prevented such and such? Yes, it may have happened regardless of the fact, but how could I have prevented myself from not, like, from not going through the, like, not handling the situation of how I handled it? How could I have handled that situation better? How could I have done this better? No, I can't go back. We always have to learn that you can't go back. You can't change the past. You can't change of what is already going to happen. You just have to figure out, what can I learn from this to move forward? What can I remove? What bad can I remove to where whenever I move forward, all I'm moving forward with is the good, you know? And it was just like, they are not perfect, you know? Like I said, we're not perfect. We all go through things, and understanding that to this day, like, me and that person, we're still not friends anymore. The other person that used to live with me, baby steps, we still communicate here and there. It's not the same as it used to be, but it's never gonna be the same. And I also have to accept that and understand that too, that whenever you forgive people and you move forward, and if they do come back in your life, or if that is a time where they should come back into your life, it doesn't mean that it's never gonna be how it used to be. But you can choose to have a better relationship, have a new foundation. Now you get to start over and get to have an opportunity, because whenever it comes to forgiveness comes with a lot. Whenever you forgive somebody, good things start coming back to you. So you do have opportunities to be able to revisit with those people, or you don't, it just all depends on what God has planned, and if that person has worked on themselves. Because like I stated, like, whenever you're forgiving someone and you're allowing yourself to understand that we all make mistakes, and you're loving people at a distance, it's also up to you to discern on if that person even deserves to even to be back into your energy. Just because you forgave them and just because they may have came back and apologized doesn't mean that you need to continue with associating yourself with them. Take baby steps. Make sure that they're actually really at a place of change and willing to be at a place of understanding and listening to you, and accepting you for you, and it's just as much as you're accepting them for them, and understanding that, make sure that they know to not sit there and have expectations on you of being a certain type of way. And it's just like, just love me for me. Of course, if I'm doing something that is hurting you, let me know. And in order for me to correct something, I have to know that it's something that is affecting you in order for me to correct it. And so it's just like, that's just like a brief thing with friendships. Cause have this huge expectation on our parents where we want them to be good parents, perfect parents, to just understand us. And it's just like, no, like, they also went through their own childhood traumas and their own past histories where it gets passed down, and we go through things where we were with, like, your parents, grandparents, sisters, brothers, cousins, like, those people disappoint you too, and those people do, they do things to you too, where it's just like, with them, it's like you really hold them to a high expectation, because it's like, you my mama, you my daddy, like, how could you do something like that? How could you treat me in that way? How could you talk to me like that? And it's just like I had to also take out the time to understand that they're learning too. Like they don't have it all figured out. Yes, just because they're my mom or they're my dad does not mean that they're perfect. Does not mean that they just have it all figured out, because they created me whenever they were kids, you know? My mama was a kid, but my daddy, that's no here nor there. But just they were basically kids. They were kids trying to figure out life, trying to understand things, and there was just some things also that I held a grudge with my dad, you know, and with my mama. And it was just like I put my mama I put my mama on this high pedestal where I had so much expectations of her, because it was just like my whole life you raised me. You know what I mean? I was with you 24/7. And my dad wasn't around like that. Like he was around, but it was just some things where it was just a lot, you know. He was around, he was in and out. Daddy, I love you, don't take this personally, but it's just the truth. I'm gonna speak the truth, and I'm gonna just let y'all know that my upbringing, I didn't have both parents in the household. It was always just me and my mama, and I would be with my dad every now and again whenever it was time for me to spend time with him. But it was always a lot of chaos whenever I was around him. It was always something happening, him getting his tire slashed, or him going to jail, or him getting into an altercation with his uncle, or just like little things like that I didn't realize that I held on to from a child coming into an adult, where I held on to it so bad, y'all, where it was like I would like picture, see the images in my head, and hold all this resentment towards him, feeling like he wasn't there, and being mad because he wasn't there. And then I had to understand that he didn't even have, people that was there for him. He didn't have the support system that he deserved. So whenever I learned that at the end of the day, whenever somebody else doesn't have something and they don't have that foundation, they can't feed that into you if it was never fed into them. They can't teach you something that was never taught to them. So I am here to break those generational curses, and take those opportunities of, turning a new leaf and making better decisions, just overall looking at things in a better way, and understanding that he went through pain and hurt too. He still is going through a lot of pain and hurt, and going through just a lot, just like even with losing my sister and my uncle, like going through that with their lot, like my uncle life been taken away. And even think that he has forgave the person who's done that, you know what I mean? But I have, because I understand that everything happens for a reason, and my uncle will be with me every day. So does my sister. My sister, she passed away due to kidney failure, and it was just like I held resentment with that, because it was just like her mom kept her away from me. So I held didn't even know that I held a grudge like I did until I went through my spiritual journey, and I learned that she was one of my guardian angels. And I beat myself up for not being at her funeral, because it was just like I never got to have that big sister role. I never got to have that that big sister that I could call and talk to and be like, "Hey, I'm going through this," to help her, to help me go through things. Like I held a grudge with that. I was angry with stuff like that, cuz it was just like I was robbed of a sister. And then whenever she passed away, I had to take the role of being big sister, and that was a lot of pressure for me. Still is to this day, but I'm learning that I'm not perfect, and I just have to take it day by day, and do my best with just talking to them, and just being there, just being present. It's all they need from me. It's me being present, and whenever they call me, answer. That's all they need from me. And things that I went through with my mama, I don't know how transparent I want to get with that, but because I know everybody be watching my YouTube, but it was some really dark things that we went through with our relationship, and I felt like she should know me. I feel like she should understand me. She should know how I am. And it was just like, it hurt me because it was like, dang, like, you don't even know me. Like, you don't even know who I fully am, like me fully. Like, what you know, like, cuz you're a mom. But the things that really really matter and that really are important, it was just like I never felt like I was heard as a kid. I never felt like, even to this day, sometimes I feel like I'm not heard, or I feel like I'm not seen, or I'm not. It was just a lot of things, like I feel like I always was misunderstood. Like, felt like I always had to explain myself. I always had to be so combative and be argumentative, and I I would just get so frustrated at a lot of things. And it was just like, I learned that she also, didn't have some things as well within her upbringing, where it was hard for her to give me something that she didn't have within herself. And I can honestly say, like, right now, to this day, like, both of my parents are in the process of growing and learning. And I appreciate that, because, of course, it's not going to happen overnight, and everything takes time. And I'd rather it take time than it to be rushed, because whenever it's rushed, it's just going to fall apart. So, with it taking time and me being patient and me being understanding and accepting and trying my best with communicating how I feel versus talking at them, and honestly just having a conversation and talking to them versus at them. Just like all those different things of just forgiving my parents for creating me whenever they shouldn't have. Like, I held a grudge towards that too. Like, y'all had no business making me. Y'all had no business creating me. Yes, I'm thankful that I'm here. Yes, I'm thankful that, that I was created. But it was just like how I was created and what was passed down to me, what the generational curses, the generational pain, the, like, all that stuff. It was just like, I ain't asked for this, you know what I mean? And of course, I created my own other things, but as you go through your journey, you also create things that you have to heal and grow from. But it was just like the things that I didn't have control over that was passed down to me. It was just like, y'all could have healed before you created me. You could have went through your process of healing. It is what it is. Life is what it is, and everything happens for a reason. And that's why God chose me to be the one to break these generational curses and make a change within not only just my immediate family, but just all, like, be the example, be the leader that I am, and showing that forgiving and allowing yourself to forgive your parents and forgive your friends and forgive relationships, like your significant others that may have hurt you, cheated on you, and understanding that everything happens for a reason. People hurt people, and I always learned that. And it's sad to say, but it's the truth. And I just been through my journey, learning how to forgive day by day, taking my step by step, and being consistent in it, and being commitment, putting the commitment within it, committing to it, committing to wanting to have forgiveness within my heart, have forgiveness within just everything that I do, and understanding that at the end of the day, by me forgiving, helps me grow, helps me remove the things that I need to remove, and uproot those weeds. Like I said, uproot those weeds and allow new things to grow, allow new things to come into fruition by letting go of that darkness, letting go of those grudges, letting go of that pain, letting go of all of that. And whenever I did that, like, step by step, like, each step it goes. Like, first it was friends, like forgiving past friends, and then it was like forgiving my parents, and understanding that not gonna be perfect. They're perfectly imperfect, and them also just not forget. I want to talk about relationships too, like with your significant other. So like forgiving someone for cheating on you multiple times, not just a little chi, but multiple times. Like you forgave them, you tried to give them a chance, and that stuff hurt. Okay, relationships and going through things, that stuff hurt. Okay, it hurt real bad. Like I had an experience where I gave my all to someone. Ooh, my last dime, y'all. I know I told y'all about the whole Tennessee thing, bailing that man out of jail and driving him all the way to Tennessee from Oklahoma to Tennessee, and still staying there, staying in this basically you could say a trap house, not knowing nobody. He in jail. I'm trying to figure out how to get him jail. Signed the bond. Y'all, I done signed a darn bond, paid half for his lawyer, all those things. Like I I held a grudge with that one right there. I did. For a brief second, for a brief little minute, I held a grudge. But then at the same time, it was like in the midst of that, like I I like instantly forgave that person, right? Like through my spiritual journey, like I forgave a person, like, you know what? Like I did that out of greatness of my heart, and I don't regret the things that I did. There's some things that honestly, I don't regret nothing I did. Let's be real, because it was like at the end of the day, like I didn't want to see. I don't like seeing people go through things, even though he may have needed to sit in that jail cell and needed to figure out and contemplate on how he was treating me and what he was doing to me, but I'm always be trying to get people out of day karma. I be getting people out of their karma. Back then I ain't realized that's what I was doing. I thought I was forgiving. I was trying to forgive the person and also include them in my energy and forgiving them as well. And it was just like, no, Kiera, like you gotta remove all of it. Like you gotta love that from a distance, buddy. I'm gonna need you to I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Whenever I chose to forgive that person, y'all, I had got a reading by Kayana Rich, and she didn't know anything that was going on, and she was just saying how like a whole bunch of stuff was about to start happening. And around this time, like I was also like in the midst of me like going through that, he came back and he apologized, y'all. Like once I forgave him and I understood that, like people do things, but at the end of the day, like I always said, I was like, I know that I stayed true to myself. I know that I did what I was supposed to do. So at the end of the day, he's going to have to answer to what he did. He's going to have to look in the mirror and reflect and think about the things that he did. And he did, y'all. Like, ended up going back to jail. Like, so crazy. Ended up going back to jail. And first thing, so he say, got out of jail and came back to Oklahoma and came to come see me and apologized to me, like apologized and didn't all the way fully take accountability, like that. Like I said, no expectations. I ain't even going to no expectations. I didn't even expect nothing out of nothing. I just allowed God to send him my way to give me and deliver whatever it is that he needs to deliver. And it was an apology, and I appreciated that. And I thank God, like, thank you, God. Like, so this is what it is. Like, these are the gifts that I get whenever I listen and whenever I choose to do better for myself, and I choose to allow myself to forgive and move forward and grow and see things in a different way and not be so, versus being spiteful and, you know, and it was just like, okay, that was cool. Like, it was like a big eye opener. Like, wow, like, so this is true. Like, good does come to you whenever you do good, genuinely do good. And I appreciated that. Like, I appreciated that apology. I appreciated like him understanding to a certain extent of what he did and accepting that, you know, it was just a lot of things where I appreciated that. And it was it was so crazy because it was like with him, it was easy to forgive him. I feel like the hardest one that was to forgive was the woman that I talked to. We never dated, but we were talking and, you know, doing other things. But nor here nor there. It was like that person, I genuinely love that person unconditionally through all they flaws, through all they mistakes, through all they everything. But it was like with me, it was like whenever I made a mistake, it was always such a big deal. It was always a problem whenever I made a mistake. It was never an understanding on my end, never like, oh, like just accepting me for who I was. It was just like nitpicking, like talking bad about me behind my back, making up things, lying to people, creating this scenario about me, choosing other people over me. You know what I'm saying? And then using the excuse of you did it. And it's like at the end of the day, I understand if I hurt you and I unintentionally was in the process of running away from something that I didn't understand. Because being bisexual, being gay, being a lesbian, being any of those things that you want to call it is shunned upon. And people make you feel like it's wrong. And like Brian said on the last episode, people just need to mind their business, you know? Because what my journey is what my journey is. And what your journey is what your journey is. And your journey may be a whole bunch of men, you know? Mine was a whole bunch of men and one woman, you know? That was my journey. And that one woman, boy oh boy, turned my life upside down, I tell you that. Turned it upside down and also build it up too at the same time. I'm not going to say it was all bad, but it was a lot of bad things that overpowered the good. I'm not going to lie. And I hate to say that, but that's the truth. Because there was some good things in it, but it was also things that I thought that was good that really was just a manipulative type of thing in a rose colored glasses type situation. And you know, whenever you really genuinely care about somebody and you really want the best, learn how to forgive them. That right there, even right now to this day, y'all, like I didn't even realize like I was still in the process of really forgiving them and forgiving them for what they did, how they treated me, the things that they chose to say to me, how they made me feel. It's just so much, y'all, where it's you wouldn't even believe me. So, but it's just like forgiving people and understanding that at the end of the day, all good things come to those who choose to use their light in a good way versus in a bad way. And you can never be a punching bag unless you allow yourself to be a punching bag. You could you could you will always be in a negative mindset if you feel like you will always be in a negative mindset. You will never be able to forgive if you always tell yourself you ain't gonna never forgive that person. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is that we all make mistakes. We all go through things. None of us is perfect. None of us has everything figured out. None of us do. And we all are at a place where we're trying to figure out this thing called life and learn how to be a better person. And by you forgiving that person not only heals you, it can heal that person too, because they may struggle with wanting forgiveness from somebody else, from their parent, from their mom and their dad or sibling, or you know, whatever it is. And by you showing them that they can be forgiven for the things that they do, and they can see that it is a possibility, it can happen. Like, be that person, like be that light, be that leader into showing people that you can get over these humps. Like I said in the last video, you can get over these humps and keep moving forward at a steady pace. It's just up to you if you want to consistently with doing that. Like I stated, like at the end of the day, the best thing that you could do is forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for even making the decisions and choices that you made, but also loving yourself and understanding that you make mistakes, and those mistakes created you to be who you are today. Those mistakes help you to see things in a better way and to see darkness and be able to understand how to deal with darkness, how to operate in darkness, how to be able to push through, and how to be able to just overcome a lot of things. Because as you learn, whenever somebody crosses a boundary, it's like God is telling you you don't have any boundaries in your life, because you allowed these people to cross all these boundaries, and you're in the process of trying to forgive all these people. But now I need you to learn how to create boundaries for yourself. Now I need you to learn how to continue with consistently keeping positivity in your life. Now I need you to learn how to meditate and how to heal each one of your 7 chakras in order for you to help yourself become whole, help yourself become at peace with things, and being able to say, you know, hey, it happened. At the end of the day, what am I doing about it? How am I looking at it? How am I going to choose to do better? How am I going to choose to not feed the fire, not react to what that person is saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all about you and the choices that you make, the decisions that you choose to make for yourself, the decisions that you choose to overcome, you choose to get past, you have a choice. Everybody has a choice. We all have a choice in deciding on, do I want to forget this person or do I want to hold on to this? That's your choice. And if you choose to want to hold on to it, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Just know that there's a lot of dark things that come with holding in those type of things, holding in that pain, holding in that hurt. It is important to talk about the things that you need to talk about. Like, it's just like my friend Brian said, you cannot heal what you don't reveal. Period. You can't. So at the end of the day, by you forgiving is revealing what you're forgiving. So, because then it's giving you a blueprint on the next steps that you can take along that journey that you're going on. Yes, you're going to make a few mistakes here and there. Yes, you may fall back into that habit, but make sure you catch yourself within that habit. Don't allow yourself to sit in that habit for too long, because then that means don't allow yourself to go backwards. Don't allow yourself to excuse me, don't allow yourself to sit there and feel like you're less than of a person if like that person has control over you now that you forgave them. And it's just like, no, the devil wins whenever you choose to not forgive. He wins, because that means that you're just playing his game. You're falling into the trap. You're entertaining the chaos. You're allowing the fire to fuel within you. And the devil wants you to do that. Trust me. God wants you to forgive. He wants you to forgive, and he wants you to love people, and he wants you to love people for who they are. And he say, come as you are for a reason. So treat people as that, coming as they are. Come as you are. This is who you is. And you decide from there on if that person deserves to be in your circle or not. You decide from there if that person is just somebody that is in your life for you to help them, give them that story, give them that step into taking that next journey, or that person is here for the long haul, to be in your life, to be that friend, to be your significant other, to be a sister or brother you never had, like just different things like that. Like, it's just like, see the positive within it. But don't allow, once you allow yourself to forgive, and once you allow yourself to do those things and commit to that, committing to being a better you is don't don't allow yourself to be stuck on the negative too much, because it's just like it be so many things where I be seeing my family go through things to this day, holding grudges, being angry, being vengeful, and it's just like that's not gonna solve the problem. All it does, it just make you sad. It just makes you feel so sad. And it was just like I wanted to make the decision. I didn't want to be sad no more. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be able to see the better in these things, see things in a better light, see things in a better way. Like, I wanted to be able to understand that at the end of the day, you know, you know, happens, it does. And at the end of the day, we can only control what we can do about it, how we choose to react, how we choose to see it. Understanding that everything is not always peaches and cream. It's not. And understanding that we all make mistakes, and that's just is what it is. And I know I keep saying that, but it's so true. Like, we all make mistakes, and people be trying to sit there and feel like somebody should be perfect, or they think they perfect, and it's just like, no, like, nobody's perfect. God created us to have imperfections in order for us to become one within ourselves. Like, that's how you learn who you are. That's how you learn how to go through this thing called life, and how to deal with people, deal with situations, and all those different type of things. Like, he pushed you through all these different type of battles to where either you can allow it to build you to become stronger, or you can allow it to build you to become weak. And I'm proud of myself that I chose to want to become stronger by forgiving somebody, and by forgiving myself, for the decisions that I made, for some of the choices that I choose to, the decisions and the choices that I chose to make, and the words that I chose to use. And because, like I said, like, I'm not perfect. Like, I know that I've hurt some people too, but it was just like, I already have forgiven myself. I have moved past that in my life. And if you still want to be stuck on that, okay, so be it. That's on you. You could be stuck on that, but I'm about to move forward. So it's just, at the end of the day, like, I feel like we have to protect ourselves. You have to protect yourself, because God can't protect you if you don't be willing to protect yourself. God can't prevent certain things to happen if you're not willing to prevent it to happen to you. So it's just all these different things that we can be so angry about, or so mad about what somebody did, or how somebody treated me, or how somebody chose to treat me, versus understanding that that person probably was treated like dirt too. So all they know is dirt, you know? All they know is how to talk down on somebody, because they may have always got talked down to. They may not know how to speak light into somebody, but you can be the example of showing them how to speak light into somebody. You can be the example of showing them of how they could overcome these different times.
A few moments later.
Okay, anyways, we back. My bad. So my phone was going dead, y'all. But anyways, I was like, dang, I look like I just cut off. But nah, I really hope this video, like, really touched somebody. I hope that this video helps people understand that it's okay to forgive people without acceptance, without an apology. And like I had posted on my Facebook, and I know we said it on the last episode, but it's just like allowing me to heal on my own, allowing me to forgive on my own without your acceptance, without your apology, without your understanding, without your any of that. It's just like, it helps you understand how powerful you are, and how much of just a strong human being you are. Like, God really created me to be this uh this amazing person. You know what I mean? Like, he really did his thing with me. So it's just like one of those things where people don't even look at it like that, like it's just like, dang, like I look back at my past stuff and I be like, I went through all of that. But I be so proud of myself because like I forgive all those people who've ever did me wrong, who've ever chose to treat me in a bad way. Like I forgive you 110%. Like I forgive you and I understand that we all go through things and it's life. It is life. And I know that we all hurting, you know, but it's up to us on if we choose to heal it, if we choose to want to overcome those things, want to move past those things. And I just pray that this reaches many, many people. And I pray that this video turns out amazing, y'all, because I really hope I wasn't like all over the place. But make sure you guys make sure you guys comment, make sure you guys subscribe to your girl, Kiera. Enter Inner Thoughts with Kiera podcast, and y'all are entering y'all inner thoughts in the comments of how y'all feel and engaging with me. And I want this to just be an open space. Like I said on my episode 1, I want this to be an open space for us and a safe space for us to be able to have uncomfortable conversations and talking about things that may make us feel uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, just learning that it's all gonna be okay. Everything's gonna work out. It's gonna work out in your best favor. And I love you guys. I just want to say peace, love, and blessings to everyone. Bye, you guys.
Damn, Jamal.